Hello, good evening, dear applicants. Sorry for a little delay. My name is Margarita. I'm a marketing and PR manager of HSE Banking Institute, and I'm glad to welcome you all at our second meetup of Financial Analytics Meetups project. So, as you probably know, this project is aimed to support the most talented applicants of HSE Banking Institute master's programs, which are Financial Analyst and Master of Finance. And I know that some of you missed the first lecture or just in general haven't participated in this project earlier. So in case you have any questions regarding the project itself, regarding the tasks you must complete to get 100 points for your portfolio, please, I'll be happy to answer them after the lecture. And now I want to pass the floor to our today's speaker, Ayana Shelike, who is HSE Banking Institute faculty member. And I hope that this lecture will be quite informative and useful for you, our dear applicants. So, Ayana Georgievna, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I am very glad to see you. I would be even more glad if any of you feels comfortable enough to share your videos. So this will help me to see that I'm not all alone here. Thank you very much, Ilya. Andrei. So first of all, before we start, let me know, please, where are you from today? What city are you from? I am here from Moscow. And what do you have any experience in statistics before? Maybe you started statistics, maybe you work with statistics or something. I'll be happy to know. I am finishing my preparation of the slides for you. So you have the chart.
Ayana, hello, good evening, everybody.
Yes, hello, Alexander.
Yeah, so I'm also from Moscow nowadays. And about statistics, well, actually, yeah, I took a course in statistics in my university, but I think that, in fact, that's all, because on our work, during our working projects, we don't have a lot of like statistics. I'm working in business valuation, so it's more about financial modeling, but statistics is more about research and all this stuff.
All right. Thank you very much, Alexander, for sharing. I see Sonia studied statistics. Ilya also studied statistics. Feel free to write to the chat while I will tell you the things I plan to tell. If you have any questions, you can ask the questions with your voice by using the instrument raise your hand. Looks like this. And we will see. Margarita, may I ask you please to check if there is any hands here and let me know if I don't notice. Thank you. So I can give you a word just in a moment if it is appropriate at the current moment of the slides, or I will tell you that I will answer the question later. You can also put your questions into the chat. So I am starting my sharing. Now I share my screen. Yes, and my files. Sorry, on this one. Yes, that's it. So here we are. This is some intro information about me. My name is Ayana Shelike, as Margarita has already said. Here is my Telegram account. You can write me in direct messages if you need, if you have any questions after the meetup or something. I am Quantitative Methods in Economics and Finance lecturer at Banking Institute High School of Economics. So today we plan to discuss something about hypothesis testing. I call this lecture Aesop and hypothesis testing because I plan to discuss the terms of hypothesis testing of the example of a very famous Aesop fable, the tale about the boy who cried the wolves. Let me know by the plus in the chat if you know this this fable. Yeah, I see. I think all of us who who attended school in Russia, we all know this tale. So for those who doesn't, the tale is about a shepherd boy who repeatedly tricks his co-villagers into believing a wolf is attacking his flock. When a real wolf appears and the boy cries for help, the villagers dismiss it as another false alarm and didn't come. So, which allowed the wolf to eat the sheep. On this example, we will consider the main concepts in hypothesis testing. So, first of all, it is hypothesis and observations. So, you can have some notes if you like, because after we finish, I will suggest you to solve some small quiz like this. The question is, would the session be recorded? Yes, the session is recorded, and I think there will be a recording. So, hypothesis and observations. Hypothesis in statistics is a statement about how reality is arranged. So it is something we don't know if it is true or not. It's like if some true volatility of a stock is higher or lower than some value. Did the true volatility of a stock change after, I don't know, COVID pandemic or something? It is, well, strictly speaking, it is a statement about population. So in our example, we will say that it is a statement about how it really is in the world. Observations is something we can observe from our experiments. We have some experiments to collect the data, and when we observe this data, we can make some statements about this data. It's like, is it true that historical volatility of a stock is something? And we always know if it is true or not, because we have this data, we can do the calculations we like, we can see these observations, and we can see if some statements about observations are correct or not. In the example with the boy and the wolves, people don't know if the wolves really came. So the wolves came or no wolves came are the hypothesis, because people are somewhere, they don't see the boy and the sheep, so they don't know if the wolves really came. But they have some observations. So observations here are the cry for help from the boy. So they can see, okay, the boy cries for help. This might be an evidence that wolves came. So the next part is the null and alternative hypothesis. Usually, in many textbooks, and as far as I remember in the CFA textbooks, they say that null hypothesis is a statement about population, which is considered to be correct by default until we find some evidence against it. But I like more another explanation of null hypothesis. It's like we don't know actually if null hypothesis is true or not. We don't have any tools to know if it is true or not. But we can act as if it is true, or we can act as it is not true. So I would say that null hypothesis is something, yes, is some belief about reality, and we act as if it was true until we have evidence against it. So until we can reject it somehow. It's like in the court, if we have a suspect in a crime, we usually have some prejudice of innocence, right? And until we have evidence that the person is guilty, we act as if the person is not guilty. That's it. For the villagers, yes, null hypothesis is no wolves, because people live like there's no wolves attacking the sheep, and they just do nothing, usually, through the day. So they don't come to the boy every hour or every minute or always. They live just like there is no wolves until they have some special signal from the boy. Is this part clear? Say like plus, minus, any questions? I will go to alternative hypothesis after that. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your activity. So null hypothesis is no wolves. Now the alternative hypothesis is something that we accept when we reject null hypothesis. So we act, we still don't know which hypothesis is true because we still don't have any tools to check. But we can act as if alternative hypothesis is correct only if we have evidence for it. So alternative hypothesis is always something which requires evidence. Until we have evidence for alternative hypothesis, we still act as null hypothesis was correct. In statistics, usually null hypothesis contains something like quid pro quo, nothing changed, nothing happens, everything is independent, nothing interesting happening, everything is equal, like this. And all interesting things are usually contained in alternative hypothesis. So it's like volatility changed, or there is dependence between market sector and stock type, or there is difference between two stocks behavior, or there is correlation between two stocks or something like this. So all interesting is usually in alternative hypothesis, and we can consider it correct only if we have evidence. So for the villagers, alternative hypothesis is that wolves came. So people live like wolves attack the sheep, so they come for help, only if they have some clear evidence from the boy. So if they consider the signal convincing enough, only in this case, they start acting like wolves really came, so they go and help the boy. Any question for null and alternative hypothesis? All right. All right. Now, how we make the decision. Usually we have some decision rule, which is based on the observations that we have. And it is a specific rule if we say that observation that we have are extraordinary enough, we will reject null hypothesis and accept alternative. If they are not extraordinary enough, we will not reject. The easiest example here, I think, is the courts again. We can consider a person guilty if we have enough evidence for it. So if we have enough evidence against this person, or if we have enough voices in the jury that vote for being guilty. Until we have this, we still consider him or her not guilty. When we decide to reject null hypothesis and accept alternative, so if our evidence is extraordinary enough to continue act as null hypothesis was correct, we stop acting like null is true, and we start acting like alternative is true. For the village, if the signal from the boy is convincing enough, then people come for help, and only in this case. So they stop acting like there's no wolf, like they stop living their usual life, and they start acting like alternative is true. So they take some weapon and come for help to the boy. Any questions about decision rule? No.
No, I think that is really clear.
Perfect. Now, I think one of the most interesting parts when we make correct or incorrect decisions. So we have two types of decisions in hypothesis testing, like reject null hypothesis and start acting as alternative is correct, and not reject null hypothesis and keep our course of action as if null was correct. So these decisions could be correct or incorrect, because we have some observations from experiment and we have some reality. Yes, and our observations might be biased somehow. We can have some randomness and all this stuff. So sometimes our decision might be incorrect. And the question, what if both null and alternative are incorrect? Oh, yes, thank you, Ilya. This is a very interesting question. Let's get here. Here, maybe. Yes, null and alternative hypothesis usually should cover all possible outcomes. So it is one correct or another, but not both, and nothing else. So we usually say it's like there is wolves, there are wolves, or there are no wolves. Nothing else. Something goes to null, something goes to alternative. So in pure hypothesis testing, there is no option when both are incorrect or both are correct. All right. All right, this was the decision rule and the correct and incorrect decision. So the first correct decision we can make is like reject null hypothesis when alternative hypothesis is true. It is true reject. And when we do this, we are awesome. And for the villagers, it thinks that they come for help. So they reject null hypothesis and start acting like the wolves really exist. When the wolves really exist. So they do the correct thing and everything is fine. So they come for help, they struggle with the wolves, everything fine. Oh, sorry. Oh, what happened? Again? Yes. The second type of correct decision is we don't reject null hypothesis when it is true. So we keep our course of action, which we had before the test, and this is a correct decision. So for the villagers, they don't come for help when there is no wolves, right? So they still live their lives. No wolves came to the sheep. Everything is fine. It is correct, not reject. Let me know, please, in the tale about the boy and the wolves, did the villagers make correct decisions in this tale? Did they come for help when the wolves really showed up? Or did they just continue living their lives when wolves did not come? Yes, Ilya, they didn't. They didn't any of it. Yes, so their decisions were incorrect in both times. So the first type of incorrect decision is reject null when it is true. So it is we change our course of action. We start acting like alternative hypothesis is correct. but null is still correct. So we have some extraordinary evidence against null hypothesis, yes, but this happens by chance due to the randomness of the data that we observe, or some other reason. So for the villagers, they come for help when there is no wolves. So it is false alarm. It is called type 1 error. What happens? What is the consequence of this? The consequence is that they come for help. There is no wolves, and the level of their credibility of the shepherd boy is fallen. So they believe them less and less and less. And this is what the villagers were doing during the whole tale. Like the boy cried for wolves, they came, there was no wolves. And then it repeated until some day, the wolf really came, yes, and the villagers did not come for help when the wolves really came. It is missed alarm. The consequence of this is that the wolf has eaten the sheep, and in some versions of the fable, the wolf's eaten the boy as well, but not in the Russian by Tolstoy. In Russian version by Tolstoy, they eat only the sheep and not the boy. So it is more kind to the boy. So the incorrect decision, the type 2 error, is we not reject null hypothesis when alternative is true. So we keep our course of action by default, but we should have changed it. It's like we think that volatility of a stock did not change after, I don't know, we added this stock to some index. But in reality, it did change, and we should have changed our strategies, but we didn't. That's the type 2 error, the missed alarm error. Both might have special consequences. Yes. In the tail, the consequence of this is that the sheep was eaten by the wolf. Do you have any questions about type 1 error or type 2 error? No questions. By the way, you asked questions at the beginning of the meeting. Yes, Anna, thank you. I was working on statistics. I studied the dynamics of people who receive temporary asylum of refugee status in Russia by country over 10 years. Wow, that's interesting, Anna. Thank you for sharing. Okay. I hope this information was not very hard, clear enough. And I am ready to give you some summary and then share some questions with you, and we will discuss. By the way, before we go to the questions and to the summary, let me know if you do know the metrics film. The NEO, red pill, blue pill, all this stuff. Plus or minus, please. All right, okay. Then this example will be understandable. All right. So let's make some summary. Hypothesis in statistics is a statement about something we can't observe. I see, Louis, you did not watch the metrics. Okay, this is not the only example I have for you. Hypothesis is a statement about something we can't observe. It is some statement about how reality works, a statement about population, speaking more strictly. The decision we make is based on observation that we have, the data. Usually in statistics, first, we must state some hypothesis and then collect the data. How it happens usually? We see the data first, we find some patterns in this data, and we state hypotheses based on these patterns. But after that, we must collect new data and check this hypothesis on some new data. This is important. So we act as if null hypothesis was correct until we find enough evidence to reject it. So roughly speaking, null hypothesis can be considered to be correct by default. So our default course of action is based on null hypothesis. That's the best way to say, I think. Alternative hypothesis is always something that needs evidence. So we always search for evidence for alternative hypothesis. We search evidence to reject null hypothesis. We never search evidence to support null hypothesis. We never search evidence to reject alternative hypothesis. This is not how hypothesis testing works. In the example with the boy and the wolves, the rejection rule was reject null hypothesis if the observations is extraordinary enough, if they have some cry from the boy, the cry for help. But if they don't have cry for help, this doesn't mean that wolves didn't come. It is not an evidence that wolves didn't come. It is absence of evidence that wolf came. This would be statistically correct. When decision is made, we can change hypothesis or not change, but we still don't know which one is true. So when decision is made, we can change our course of action if the data we observe is extraordinary enough. In each hypothesis test, this extraordinary enough is something special. It's like higher than specific value, something, or lower than specific value, or higher by specific value than specific value by absolute value, or something. We can reject null hypothesis and change our course of action. We can fail to reject null hypothesis and don't change our course of action, but we still don't know which hypothesis is true. We have no tools to know which hypothesis is true. We only can have evidence for something or evidence against something. It's like we never know if a person committed a crime. Yes, but we can have evidence for it. Or we can have not enough evidence for it. If we have evidence that the person committed a crime, then the person goes to jail. If we don't have evidence that the person committed a crime, then the person goes free. But we don't know if we weren't there when the person committed the crime. We don't know if he or she really did it. So this is why we can make a mistake in a decision. Type 1 error is missed alarm. We reject correct null hypothesis. Type 2 error is false alarm. We fail to reject incorrect null hypothesis. So in type 1 error, we keep our default course of action. We change our default course of action in the situation when we should have keep it. In type 2 error, we keep our default course of action in the situation when we should have changed it. So this is all slides I wanted to share. And the next thing, I would ask you if you have any questions at the moment. And if you don't, I will share some quizzes for you. I hope it will work. I will put it into the Zoom chat. There are 3 questions. They have some fun gamification. One about Sherlock Holmes, one about home security, and one about the Matrix film. 1, 2, and 3. So once you are ready, let me know in the chat, like the Sherlock Holmes is ready, or the alarm is ready, or the matrix is ready, or like 1, 2, 3. I will understand. And when some of you are ready, we will discuss. And if you have any questions, I am still here to answer. Ilya, are you ready with all 3? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Ilya, Andrei, Vlad, Sonia, I see you have done everything. If you have any struggles, yes, you can also let me know just now. And we will start discussion a bit earlier. Yes, I plan to start discussion when somebody is ready, like about maybe half of you is ready or something. But maybe we should start discussion later. Mm-hmm. You can save the links. Yes, they will be valuable after we finish as well. So let's discuss some tasks. Which one would you like to? The Sherlock Holmes, the alarm, or the matrix? Any matrix? Okay. Okay, Let's start with metrics, but I know there are somebody who did not watch the metrics film, so we will also discuss one more, maybe home security thing or Sherlock Holmes thing. So, start with the metrics one. I will need to turn the sound off and to share my screen. Stop sharing this one and share this one. Let's start. So, yes, you see. Situation. Neo is offered a choice: the blue pill, forget everything and go back to this normal life, or the red pill, learn the truth. Let's see. What is the null hypothesis here? The null hypothesis is something which is like the course of action by default. It's like Neo lived before. All his life, Neo lived like the world was real, so the matrix does not exist, is the null hypothesis. And something that needs evidence is the matrix does exist. So the Morpheus must prove existence of the matrix. That's why it is alternative hypothesis. Take the red pill. If he takes the red pill, means that he rejects null hypothesis and takes alternative. This is rejecting null. If he takes the blue pill, he does not reject null hypothesis. This is not rejected. Now, believe the world is real. Take the blue pill, but live an illusion of the matrix. The consequence life of slavery to the machines without freedom or choice. This is situation where Neo keeps his course of action the way he lived before. And this is missed alarm. This is type 2 error. Believing the matrix, if Neo chooses the red pill and believes in the matrix, but he is wrong, and the world was real, the consequence is like losing connection with the real life and maybe going insane. This is type 1 error. So he changes his course of action. Yeah, he changes his life, his paradigm, and he's wrong. He shouldn't have done this. This is type 1 error. In reality, Neo chose to reject null hypothesis. Yes, he took the red pill, and it was a correct decision. So in reality, he did not make a mistake here. Let's check. Yep, everything is correct. Game complete. It looks nice.
Sorry, can I ask, please?
Yes.
Could you please remind me? I wrote down that type 1 error is missed alarm, but is it false alarm?
Type 1 is false alarm, yes.
So type 2 is missed.
Yes, type 2 is missed alarm.
Okay, thank you.
So let's do the home security. Let's imagine we have some home security system, and let's see which one is null hypothesis. So usually we live like there is no break-in. Yes, if we are not paranoid. So null hypothesis is no break-in. So nothing happens, we just live our usual life, just like in the tale about the boy and the wolves. Correct. Let's see. Reject null hypothesis means that we have a signal. Yes, our signal is the observations, our evidence for alternative hypothesis. We reject null hypothesis, and call the police is rejecting null hypothesis. Alternative hypothesis is that there is a break-in. So now we live by default like there is no break-in. So this means that alternative is that there is break-in. So in null hypothesis, it's like if home security alarm worked, we have a signal from home security alarm, but there is no break-in. This could be like something random, like a cat, or maybe some noise from somewhere, or just a joke or something, but no break-in. But sometimes we have a situation when we have a break-in but don't have the security alarm. Yes, this will be type 2 error, for example. Yeah. Observation that we have is that home security alarm, if we ignore it and don't call the police, then this will be not reject null hypothesis. That's it. Game completes. So I think I will leave the task with the Sherlock Holmes for you. And finally, any questions? And we will finish. While you think about the questions, I will tell you what will happen next. In a few days, I think maybe today or tomorrow, we will provide you tasks for essay. Yes, I think it will be something like given an example, like non-statistical example of hypothesis testing that you did in your life, or you can take any character from a movie or from your favorite book and give an example of like what is null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, what was done, what decision was made, what could be the consequences, what could be the type 1 error, type 2 error, like what could be the consequences, what consequences did you face, maybe, was your decision correct or incorrect, what if it was incorrect, and what which type of mistake did you make and what consequences did you face, or you or the character in a film. So it will be not mathematics as we usually understand it. But I think if you understand these concepts, like what is type 1 error, what is type 2 error, what is the difference between the hypothesis and observations, how we make decisions, what are consequences of the decision that we make, why decisions we can make can be correct or incorrect, why we can never say if hypothesis is correct or not. This is very important because every technical thing, today we do every technical thing by computer. Yes, by Python, Excel, we have all the computational tools to do any test. But it is our strength, I think, to understand how it works and how we should interpret it. So, questions?
Can I ask kind of a silly question?
Yes, please.
It was really interesting. Thank you about the statistics, about the hypothesis. But I would like to ask you, could you give me an example? How do we apply this knowledge? How would we apply this knowledge about hypothesis in finance, and what sphere and what examples?
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you. Just a moment. Should I share? Do I have? Yep. So let's imagine, which example should I give you? Yeah, we have maybe portfolio of 2 stocks. Please don't write on the whiteboard. We have portfolio on 2 stocks, A and B. Okay. And they are like from the same market sector. we want to understand this portfolio behavior, it is important for us to understand, are A and B returns correlated? Because it will affect volatility a lot. If they are highly correlated with positive correlation, then volatility will grow. If they're negatively correlated, then volatility will fall. Or maybe they're independent or something. So to do this, we can observe, we can state our null hypothesis if they are not correlated. Correlation coefficient is 0, no correlation. Or alternative, if there is a correlation. Then we can collect the data. And then we can find some special statistics, do the computational things, and make a decision. We reject null hypothesis or not reject. And we can still make a mistake, like type 1 error mistake here. Type 1 error will be reject null, consider them correlated. When they are not. What could be consequences of this? For example, let's say we think if they're like not just correlated by, but maybe positively correlated. Because positive correlation will increase volatility. So in this case, this will be not positively correlated, and this will be positively correlated. So we consider them positively correlated when they are really not positively correlated. The consequence here is that we overestimate volatility of our portfolio. There is also type 2 error. We consider them not correlated positively, but they are correlated positively. In this case, we can underestimate portfolio volatility. Sorry, something happens with my pen. So this is one of the examples how we can apply all this stuff to real financial things. Did I answer the question, Sonia?
Yes, thank you for this example. It really helped me.
Okay. I see the question from Mikhail is already answered. Thank you. It was a really interesting lecture. Quiz format was very pleasing. Yes, yes. My question is generally about the meetups. Yes, I see already answered. What do you expect from essay and the meetup to give it a high mark? I expect in my dreams with unicorns, yes, I expect you not using ChatGPT or DeepSeek or something like this. Yes, and giving an example from your life or from some book, film, series, which you like. And I expect some clear reasoning from you. So what is null hypothesis and explanation why you think so? What is alternative hypothesis? How decision was made? What consequences could be from this decision, like type 1 error, type 2 error? Was this decision correct or not correct? It's like the translation from the life experience into these statistical terms. That's what I expect. A/B testing in marketing is a main example. A/B testing, yes, is one of the examples. Yes. Will you check? Yes, I will check the essays. I will try to formalize my expectation from you, from the essay, so to make it easier. But please, please, please give me your own reasoning, your own thinking. Don't use large language models. All right, any more questions? Looks like not. Thank you for coming. Could you explain how to get full marks? I think this is a question to Margarita.
Yes, so to get 100 points for your portfolio, you need to complete 3 conditions. The first is to complete at least 1 home task from our professors during the whole project. Your home task must be evaluated like with a high mark from 8 to 10. So this is the first condition. The second is to participate, to visit our meetups, because if you miss like 2 or more, you cannot get the winner certificate of this competition. And the last is just your review. You will write it in, like at the end of the project when all meetups are done. You will just write your own opinion, like maybe advantages or disadvantages of this project, maybe some feedback for like the seminars, for webinars, and so on. So then you send it to me and I'll check if all 3 conditions are if you like you've done all 3 conditions, you get the certificate. Okay, and one more question about the grades for the first meetup. I've already texted in the chat, so we sent all the essays, all the home tasks to our professors after the deadline. So the deadline was yesterday, and from like this date, our professors have from 2 to 3 weeks to check your home tasks and essays. And then I just send you grades to your email. No one else will see your grade, don't worry. And that's it, I think.
And there is one more question about the usual number of
The certificates. It depends. It depends because previous year we like it was like 7 certificates of winners and some like 5 certificates for participants. So it's an important detail. If you missed like 2 more than 1 webinar for some reasons, or if you just didn't get a high mark for your essay, you have an opportunity to get a certificate of participant of the project, and it will give you like some extra points for your portfolio. So it will not be like 100 points for your portfolio, but it will be like some extra from 10 to 15 points. I need to discuss the number of points with my academic supervisor. Thank you for your question. And there are no limits for the winners, but usually it's not that many as it can be. Okay, no more questions, as I can see.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we can finish here. And
Yes.
Georgievna, thank you.
Yes, thank you all.
Thank you. So, dear guests, thank you for joining us, and I hope to see you all on our next meetup in February.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.